Welcome back to Booze and the Rocks. My name is David Edwards, and today I'm gonna break your skull, cause why not? With Steve Austin's Broken Skull Margarita. Let's get into it. Great to have every one of you back today. It is Margarita Monday and I am stoked. Today's recipe request comes from a whole bunch of different subscribers and at least 2 other channels. They asked me, David, can you make the Steve Austin Broken Skull Margarita? And you know what? I hadn't heard of it, so I looked into it and I said to myself, you know what, Self? Yeah, you can. After all, Stone Cold Steve Austin, aka the Texas Rattlesnake, is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And I'm not kidding when I say this. When he came in 1996 as the ringmaster, and he was the bodyguard to Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, it wasn't a great fit for him. He wrestled versus Carlo Vega and he won, but it wasn't an exciting match. It was just a match. But a little bit later, Steve Austin got the chance to change his name over to the Texas Rattlesnake. And a lot of this happened during his feud with Jake the Snake Roberts, who was another one of my favorite wrestlers from the early 90s and 80s. Now during this time, Jake the Snake Roberts, and I had to think about that for a moment, sorry. Jake the Snake Roberts was going through a lot of changes in his life and trying to get his life back in order, and he was still trying to wrestle, and he talked a lot about the good things, and he would quote the Bible. And after their major match, Stone Cold Steve Austin grabbed up the mic and uttered those famous words,
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass!
And that set Steve Austin's career path right through the roof because it defined the 1990s Attitude Era of hard wrestling, great technique, great fights, great storylines inside and outside of the ring. Unlike today, I'm not as big a fan of what's going on now, but you couldn't go wrong. You knew that when Steve Austin was stepping into the ring, you were gonna get a great match. And it showed in everything that he did and the way he worked with the other wrestlers. It's part of what drew me to wrestlers. I was just out of high school at the time when this happened, and you just couldn't say enough about it. So enough of my babbling about wrestling. I'm gonna make this cocktail, and hopefully, Steve, I do it justice for you. The first thing you need is your shaking glass. And one of the things that he said for this was you should use a Patron tequila. Now, however, I don't have 3 ounces in my little bottle here, so I'm going to use it with my good friend Calvados. Now, he said this is a broken skull, which means your skull's gonna hurt, and after you have a couple of these, you're not gonna be fit to be doing anything else. So you need 3 ounces or 90 milliliters of this incredible white liquid. And that's a lot of tequila in one drink. The next thing you're gonna use is triple sec. And triple sec is an orange liqueur. It's a little bit sweeter than some of the other liqueurs, and you need 1.5 ounces. That's a lot of booze. Next thing we need is a little bit of lime juice because it wouldn't be a margarita without lime juice. So we need another 1.5 ounces. So far we're looking at 3, 1.5, 1.5. And you can make a slight adjustment to this if you want, but you know what? Let's see what we can do by taking it all the way to the max. And you know what? That's pretty awesome. I didn't expect to get that much out of that lime. Put these over here. We also need a couple of drops of agave syrup. So what I'm going to do is 1 bar spoon. I guess consider a couple of drops. And that will sweeten it up just a little bit. We're gonna shake this. And we're going to shake this for about 10 seconds because my ice is a little wet today because I just cut it. If your ice is dry, you'll shake it a little bit longer. If it's wet, it's already got some moisture coming off of it because it's already starting to melt. You can shake it for a little bit less time. Now we're gonna give this the Stone Cold Steve Austin Stunner. Awesome, it didn't break. Nope, it didn't break. I got a little excited and over exuberant there. Broken skull, broken glass, I didn't break it. I am, however, gonna take a moment and just, what can you do? Grab your rocks glass. Now he said that you should do this in a low ball glass, which I have here. So we're going to rim this glass with salt. So take your leftover piece of lime, give it a good squeeze all the way around, and we're just gonna dip it in like so. Give it a shake. Look at that. Damn, that looks pretty good actually. And we're going to strain this in. Need some ice first. I got so thrown out by trying to destroy my barware that we need a little bit of ice. Now we're gonna give this a bit of a strain. Oh, look at that. I need a garnish. Apparently, okay, so let's just chop the ends, make this kind of nice looking. We'll square this up. You don't have to be fancy with this. And we're just gonna cut this in half like so. And I'm gonna give this a little bit of a cut here. I've got a skull cocktail pin. We're just gonna jam that in like so because it is a Broken Skull Margarita. But we're not done. We're not done. His recipe requires that we use about an ounce of Grand Marnier. Now I don't have any Grand Marnier. I went to the liquor store. All the liquor stores in the city where I live were sold out. I'd have to have driven 45 minutes away to get one. However, because Grand Marnier is a drier orange curacao, I'm going to use Pierre Ferdinand orange curacao, and we're going to then rim the top of this with 1 ounce of orange curacao. Look at that. Oh yeah. Put that there. I'm really, really curious to see how this tastes. I am, however, not a fan of a mouthful of salt. Okay, so I can smell the tequila coming up right away. I get a little bit of orange and a little bit of the lime. Let's give it a try. Oh, that's a lot of salt. I think I put too much salt on the rim. Let's try this again. That's a lot of tequila. Oh, I like my margarita a little less on the tequila side, but the flavor is still really good. The lime balances very, very well with the triple sec. The Cazador's tequila is actually quite a nice tequila in my opinion. The Patron, from what I understand, is a little bit rougher, but then again, that's by Steve Austin, what Steve Austin said. And he said, you want it to feel like it's kicking you in the head, especially tomorrow morning after a couple of these. Too much salt. But you know what? That's my own personal doing in the way I rim the glass. Oh, it's a good cocktail. A little strong on the tequila side for me, but you know what? You just can't go wrong with this. A classic margarita brought a little stronger to you, and my brain's just not functioning anymore today. And you know what? What I'm gonna do is I'm going to put the ingredients and the method of how to make this down below. If this is your first time to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell notification. That way you will be notified every single time we put up a new video. And if you're interested in supporting our channel, please check us out at patreon.com/boozontheRocks, because every little bit helps to help support the channel and buy all this wonderful stuff. We'll see you next time. How was that?
Good.
came to me from multiple people, including a couple of Patron tequila. He said you could go with a higher end tequila, but this has, and you know what? That's awesome. I just